Because I know it's something that you really, you really want to be a mother.
I do.
I know you'd be a wonderful mother.
Does that sound like something you want?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, you'll never get it.
Child. Anyway,
So it seems like Tata and James are determined to talk to everyone about their problems, and finally the time has come where they talk to each other. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We're here to discuss 90 Day Fiancé the other way, specifically Tata and James. We're just gonna go straight into it. I want to talk about the latest episode because I think that it's going to be something bigger in the next one. But finally, Tata and James had the conversation about kids and the fact that she knows how he feels and he doesn't know that she knows. So we're gonna get straight into it. As always, before we do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. So when we catch up with these two, I think James has been sick for some time, so Tata decides to do like a coin massage. I had never heard of a coin massage. I've heard of cupping and things like that. But it looks very much like she's scraping him with a coin. She put oil all over him, and it looks so painful. He is white, so he is bruising like a mofo. It looks brutal, but she leaves him alone so he can rest, and she goes to the park with her sister and her nephews. So her sister's like, okay, so we know now that you have hypothyroidism, which again, she could have found that out in the US. She didn't need to go to Indonesia for that. But her sister's like, okay, you need to follow up with a doctor so you can make sure that everything's okay so when you start having kids. And Tata's like, about that. So Tata decides to tell her sister that her friend Adele confided in her and told her that James doesn't really want to have kids. And she's like, I'm really hurt that he would tell her and not me. Why wouldn't he tell me? And I just think this entire thing is messy. James is messy. Tata is messy because she knows and she hasn't, addressed this head on. So she's telling her sister that she's hurt, that he hasn't confided in her, and that he doesn't trust her with this. And I'm like, babe, it can be argued that you don't trust him either because you still keep playing this game of telephone without talking to him, but okay. And so she's weeping at this point, and her sister's like, James is absolutely in the wrong. And he is, but y'all are also adults and y'all are married, and one of y'all has to step up. You know this information, you want clarity, get it. Also, adding more people to the mix isn't going to make your husband want to procreate with you. So just cut to the chase. That's how I feel. And so as we know, you guys, Tata has been temperamental, to say the least, and her sister knows her. So her sister's like, listen, you should talk to him, but make sure you're feeling level-headed so that you can communicate clearly. And her sister says, you don't know what he's actually thinking until you talk to him, so you need to get to the bottom of it. You guys, and I know that Tata's always crying, so I think it's so distracting, but in this episode, I was like, she's so beautiful. She should cry less. But anyway, the next scene is with her and James walking along the beach. James is feeling better, so they thought that they, would have some alone time. They have a metal detector. I don't know what kind of treasure they're looking to find. But they're along the beach, and Tata's like, I want to have a conversation with you. And James is like, about what? And she's like, about something that Adele told me. And he's like, okay. And she's like, well, Adele told me that you told her that you don't want to have kids. And he's like, she did? And he looks so guilty. And this is where James does the thing that we all hate. He is deflecting like it is his job. Tata's like, why did you tell her and you didn't tell me? And James is like, well, I'm upset that she would tell you that. Sir, you're not answering the question. You're missing the point. And he tries to get up to walk off, and Tata's like, let's sit and talk about this. Why didn't you tell me? So he apologizes, thankfully. That didn't take too long. He apologizes and says that his rationale was, Adele is the friend that you're closest to. So I thought in telling her where I stood that she would know where you stood, and that would give me some insight. How about just asking your wife where she stands and you would have gotten the answers. I don't understand. So he says the same thing that he's been saying, which is, I don't really know if I want kids because, the world is just such a toxic place. I don't know if I want to bring kids into that. And he's like, it's selfish because I know that how much you want kids and you would be such a great mom. Sir, I think that that's cruel to tell someone, like, you'd be such a great mom. Too bad I'm not gonna make you a mom. And with James, it's so frustrating because it takes a few tries to get to the truth. And so after he's done BSing, we get a glimpse of the truth, which is that he doesn't feel good enough. He stops blaming the world and blames it on his shortcomings. He's like, I feel like I can barely provide for us. Thinking about providing for a kid is like, I don't see how I would do that. And you know what? I'm glad that he said that because being a parent is a huge responsibility. I love that he's not taking it lightly. This is a valid fear. You don't want to bring a kid into this world to struggle. But I think that these two are ignoring a very obvious solution. In America, he had a good paying job. He was able to support them. It was a family business, so he was practically tenured. He wasn't going to lose it. But even if he did lose it, his profession pays, okay? They could support a family there. I just don't think that he's being honest that he doesn't want it, period, right? Because if it's about finances, he could have done it in America. I think the catch-22 of this for Tata, which I don't think she will admit, is that they cannot support themselves in Thailand. And while she wants to be in Thailand because it's her home, I'm sorry, not Thailand, Indonesia. They can't support themselves in Indonesia. Her family's in Indonesia, so she has that support and community. But he doesn't want to depend on them for their livelihood. And it would feel rude to bring just another mouth to feed for her parents. So if they really did want kids, they would face up to that fact that they have to go back to America. But I think she doesn't want to admit that, and he doesn't want to admit failure / I don't really think he wants kids. Tata, again, is weeping, and she says that in Indonesia, they believe that when you bring children into the world, it strengthens your relationship. I extremely disagree with that. Kids will not keep people together, and James is like, I disagree. That's not going to make me love you more. But James is like, Tata, what would happen like if I tell you that I can't give you that? So Tata's broken because what she says is that when they started dating, James over here love bombed her to a crazy degree, and he had her imagining their little cute brown children. So she from the start had this image of what their future, their trajectory would look like, and now he's crushing it. He's like, I can't give you an answer right now. Like, I can't promise you, but we can talk about it as I get, myself situated in Indonesia. Then we can decide. And so Tata ultimately is like, I would stick by you, but it's clear that she would resent him because she wants children so badly. These things are make or break, and you should talk about them from the start. People are allowed to change their mind, of course, but there's a level of deceit, right? I mean, James made all of these promises to her parents and to Tata when he was asking for her hand in marriage, and he hasn't stuck by any of them. So if I were Tata, I would be, rethinking this. And I don't think that she will because in her culture, they follow their husband. But I just feel like, ma'am, you signed a contract and he isn't fulfilling the contract. You deserve to have the things that you want. And again, this is only the surface of this fight because I think that now that she's had this conversation with her sister and with James, it's going to come back around with her sister. And in the teaser, it looks like there's going to be a huge confrontation happening with the family and James. So we'll be keeping up with it. Let me know your thoughts on this segment. I would love to know. Again, I know that this is a complicated couple, so I do look forward to hearing your little tidbits. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.